all for coming today. We're going to have Rich Gannon say a few words. We're going to have Al Davis say a few words, and then we're going to open it up to questions and answers. As I ask you to, for the question and answer period, just raise your hand, let me acknowledge you. We'll give you the microphone, and then you can pose the question. Okay, please state your name and affiliation. Okay, thank you. Rich.
Thank you. I appreciate everybody being here. I didn't really prepare any big speech or anything. I just really here to thank a lot of different people. I think, 6 years ago, in 1999, I was really a journeyman quarterback. I played in the league 11 or 12 years and never really felt like I was given an opportunity or chance to really be an everyday player. And in 1999, the Oakland Raiders, Mr. Davis, John Gruden gave me that opportunity to be an everyday starter and gave me really a chance to have my own football team, if you will. And I tried to make the most of that opportunity. I'm entirely grateful to the organization, to all the coaches and all the players, the great players that I was surrounded with for so many years here in Oakland. Some of the best players in all of the National Football League. We did a lot of great things together. We won a lot of football games. We accomplished some of our goals, not all of our goals, but we did a lot of wonderful things together. And I can say this, I never ever took one day of my career in the National Football League for granted. I realized just how fortunate I was to be playing a game that I loved so much as a youngster. We were talking about the other day, my wife and I think it's been 32 seasons that I've played organized football, 17 years in the National Football League. Not bad for a little-known guy at the University of Delaware. So I am appreciative of everything that's happened here for me. I'm very thankful for my parents, my family back in Philadelphia, and my lovely wife, Shelley, who couldn't be here today, and my two daughters who have been patient with me over the years and put up with all of my tantrums and coming back from a long road trip or after a loss and listen to me moan and complain about the protection or whatever it was. So, but I was fortunate. I played with a lot of great players. Again, as I said that, a lot of great coaches. Norv, when he came in here a year ago, just took me under his wing. I had learned a new system. He was very patient with me. And the only thing I feel bad about was I was not able to play an entire season for him. I think we would have done some great things together. And as far as the decision to retire, it was an easy one for me. It really was not my decision. I was not able to continue to play physically, and that really takes all the guesswork out of it for a player like myself who still feels that he's got enough left in his tank and enough left in his arm and his legs to continue to play. Unfortunately, my neck will not allow me to continue my career, but I am very proud of my association with the Oakland Raiders. I'm very thankful again for Mr. Davis giving me that opportunity in 1999, and it was the best thing that ever happened to me, obviously. So thank you, Mr. Davis.
Well, thank you. I guess it's my turn next. A quick little anecdote. Maybe 16 years ago, we sent a scout, Angelo Coya, who was a great player in the National Football League and a fine player at the University of Southern California, to little Delaware University to scout a quarterback by the name of Rich Gannon, who everyone thought would be a great defensive back in the National Football League. And he told them right then and there, there's no way that I'm going to play anywhere but quarterback. His firm belief in himself, he was drafted, and the first team that got him wanted to make him a safety. Again, he refused to do it. He's stubborn, boy, I'll tell you that. He's stubborn on a lot of things, but he's great. But in any event, we watched him because the scout thought he could play quarterback, not only based on his ability, but based on his feet. He was an excellent scrambler and could make teams have tremendous problems. Well, let me say that today is an emotional day for the organization because it's a premature ending because of injury. Think what you want. His age was not the factor by any means. It was what he said it was, injury. And it's a proud day. It's a proud day for the Raider organization, for the great players, past, present, future, to the great coaches, and you know we've had them, past, present, and of course Norv, the great fans all over the world and the Raider Nation, and of course the staff, the executives of the organization who pour their heart and soul into the greatness of the Raiders. And the proudness is because Rich Gannon wore the famed colors of silver and black for 6 years. He gave us something that we needed, and we needed it badly. He gave us a work ethic. There's a lot of stories that go into what happened, how we got Rich Gannon, and all of those things. And his brilliance as a player, his team achievement, his personal achievement, and all the things he did for us are not the important thing right now in my mind. The important thing is that he wore our colors with pride, he wore them with poise, and he wore them with class. And I tried to think of some player or someone that I could compare him to relative to our organization. And I went back to the beginning. I went back to Jim Otto, who we say a prayer for today. But I went back there because Jim Otto was not a company man. He was an organization man. He played football for the organization. His will to win, as Rich Gannon's will to win, was inspiration to everyone on the football team. I really believe that Rich took this football team, and I'm terribly sorry that the last 2 years were years that he couldn't do the things he did, but he took this football team and inspired in them, along with the coach, the will to do great. He had 3 great years there that were unparalleled by a lot of teams in professional football and a lot of quarterbacks. And if it weren't for some new rule that came into being, we would have played in 3 championship games in a row, very similar to what we were doing in the early 70s, 80s, those kind of things. I'd like to say that the years ahead, I hope he will be a part of us. We've talked a little bit about it. Norv has talked about it. We certainly will have opportunity for him. He goes into the CBS broadcasting booth now, and I kind of liken that. The last guy who retired here was a head coach, and he said, "I'm retiring. I'm not resigning, I'm retiring." And he went on to great things in television, and a lot of our players are all over the television market doing great. And I think Rich, if he doesn't start yelling at the quarterback from upstairs, will do great too, or the receivers. I finish by saying his dedication, the will to win, the commitment, still reap the rewards of victory. They still mean whether you win or lose. The intensity of the players on the field, the organization, and everyone driving the car in one direction. We wish him all the luck in the world, to his wife Shell and the young daughters and all those people that he must have driven crazy. Although her dad was a football player of great repute, so she understood it. And all I can say to him is thank you. We're grateful, and our paths continue to cross, and we'll always be there, the Raiders and Rich Gannon. Thank you very much. Norv, would you like to say a few words, please?
Yeah, I would. The biggest thing, I talked to the media the other day, they asked me about it,
everyone talks about the football and what could have been and our opportunities had Rich stayed healthy. The regret I have certainly is from a personal standpoint. It hit me again today. We were out early before practice, and then at the beginning of practice talking about some of the things we're doing, with Randy Moss, some of the things Kerry is doing, and the way we feel we've advanced with our offense. And I could see Rich get excited and start asking me about this player and this play and that thing, and that personal experience of being involved with a guy, of Rich's, the work ethic, the integrity, and the passion for the game. I missed out on a chance to be with a great person, a great player for an entire year, and that's a regret. Unfortunately, it's part of the game, but it is something that I missed out on.
Any other questions? Phil. Grab the mic, Phil.
Thank you. Hi, Phil Barber, Santa Rosa Press Democrat. Rich, I'm sure that it was a gradual realization and decision-making process, but over the last few months, when was it that it really sank in that this was an injury that you would not be able to come back from?
It wasn't really over the last few months. I mean, it was pretty apparent when the injury happened that I'd probably never play again. So, you always hold out hope that there's a chance, but, I knew that by the severity of the injury that I'd probably never play again. So I just tried to stay busy and not be a distraction to the organization, and just when it was the right time, we'd get together and we'd do something like this and make an announcement. But that's really how it all happened. So.
Nancy.
Hi, Nancy Gay from the San Francisco Chronicle. Rich, you're such a competitive person, on the field and in everything you do. How will you channel that competitiveness into your post-playing career? And how will you?
Well, Mr. Davis and I talked about it, and actually Norv and I have talked about it as well. This has been a game that's been so important to me for so many years. I'm so passionate about it. I think it's the greatest game in the world. In fact, I told the team today, I said it goes so fast, and this is, you better take advantage of the opportunities you have. But I want to stay involved in this game in some capacity. I think that I want to stay involved with the Raiders in some capacity, and I plan on doing that. I cannot get away from it. This has been a part of my life, and it's very difficult for me to be out in the practice field today watching, and but it's exciting. It's exciting to be around the young players. I mean, I went up to Randy Moss today, and I kidded him. I said, I'm a little disappointed that we couldn't have done this a year ago, and we could have gotten you out here a year earlier, so maybe I'd still be playing. But, I mean, it's exciting to watch a guy like Randy Moss and Lamont Jordan and all these unbelievable players. And we've had them here ever since I was here, got here in '99. And that's the one thing about this organization, about Mr. Davis. Players want to come out here and play for the Raiders, and we've had some of the best players to ever play the game here. And that's why it's exciting to be a part of it, and hopefully I'll continue to be a part of it in some capacity.
I thought it was great that Rich considers Randy Moss young, so that was great. Hi, Robert. That's Robert Gallery back there. Now, that's young. Rich liked him because he'd be standing in front of him.
That's right.
Rich, when you were going through your Bill Soliday from the Oakland Tribune, when you were going through those journeyman years you were talking about, did you ever begin to wonder whether football loved you as much as you loved the game, and maybe it wasn't worth it?
I enjoyed the teams I played on, and I played on some good football teams with some great players, even in the early years, and I knew I'd get the opportunity someday. I always felt like it. I felt like I was a good enough player. I just needed to be in the right situation with the right organization and the right coaching staff to, I mean, as a quarterback, I think the biggest thing is for someone to believe in you. I mean, I think all quarterbacks believe in themselves. They believe in their capabilities. But unless you got a guy like Norv or Mr. Davis or somebody that believes in you enough to kind of stick their neck out and to take a chance on you and to make you the starter and to live with your mistakes and to live with your flaws and still find a way to succeed and win. And that's the beauty of the game, and that's what I did not have. The other organizations I was with, that trust, that belief, and it wasn't until 1999 again that when I came here to Oakland that I finally felt like I was at home. I felt like someone believed in me enough to kind of really give me the keys to the car and to see what I could do with it. And that was an exciting time in my life. It really was.
Rich, Carl Stewart from the Oakland Tribune. Why broadcasting and not coaching? I mean, all of us who have covered you for so many years thought you had that perfect coaching mentality. Is this something that might be in your future? And can you talk a little bit about your how you got into the broadcasting gig?
Well, I don't know that, totally made up my mind from a career standpoint, but this was an opportunity, and I wanted to take advantage of it. I didn't want to pass up the opportunity, and at the same time, from a coaching standpoint, I don't think a lot of people realize just what goes into it. From a selfish standpoint, I think I poured enough of my time, my energy into preparing as a player, and it really pales into comparison as what the coaches do. I mean, and when you sit down and you look at it from that standpoint and that perspective, it is a little bit overwhelming. And I have as much respect and admiration for what coaches do that if I was going to do it, I'd want to do it the right way. And I just wasn't ready to make that commitment so soon when my career was over to jump back in that fast and make that type of commitment. And it's a major commitment. It's a major sacrifice for your family to do what these guys do. And that's why every coach I ever played for, I respected and valued his time and his effort and his energy to help make me a better player. And that's really my take on the coach.
Carl, we talked about it, but like one or two others who were offered tremendous opportunity in the Raider organization to coach and eventually go up the ladder real high, the time element, the work ethic, not that they don't have it, but they might not want to do it because of their family and things like that. And he and I have discussed it, but it's not there right now for him. What's there for him right now is television, which is good, and it worked out great for a lot of our ex-players. And then to put in time on maybe a game plan, get some tapes from us each week to look over things we're doing, and maybe make a call to Norv or two just as to what he sees. Those are the kind of things that would give him what he wants at the present time. But
I'm Lowell Clump from the Santa Rosa Press Democrat. Hi, Al, this is for you. You had
from Brooklyn, aren't you?
Flatbush.
Okay.
Parade grounds. Al, this is for you.
Okay.
You had talked about
I'm scared,
Rich's...
but I'll take it.
No, you can handle this. You had talked about Rich's work ethic.
Pardon?
You had talked about Rich's work ethic.
Yes.
You made your statement. I was wondering what you noticed, what he did that was clear and obvious to you that was special.
Well, I'm a great believer in work ethic. I think it's important. And his resiliency, the fact that he never gave into himself relative to being an outstanding quarterback. Now, we have had outstanding quarterbacks here. We must have had 4 of them that came from other teams. LaMonica, Blanda, Hostetler, Plunkett. All of them came to us supposedly down just a little bit, and yet had greatness ahead of them. And I saw in Rich the same thing that we're talking about. I saw in Rich someone who had a tremendous work ethic. Now, don't think we didn't check him. And I don't want to name the one guy that convinced me that he belonged with us. He was a coach in the league. And they told me he works at it, studies film. But on the field, his demeanor, his practice habits, and actually, we used to hear a little bit, the players are getting upset with Rich, he's on them too much. And boy, I'd raise my hand and say, amen, go ahead. Because I believe you have to get on them from time to time. Not the players of the Raiders now, they're all standing back there. No, but you have to drive people. You have to demand, and respect is earned by winning. And that's what I thought he had. Now, I say this, the first year that he was here started out tough. And it was only the last game of the season that the Raiders made their mark, and we knew that we could be pretty good. And I think it was the next year we went to the championship game. And goddamn, pardon the language, he got hurt in that game a little bit. And but we could have won that game. We had a couple of plays there. And then the next year we had the Tuck game, and then the next year we got to the championship game again. So, but that's what I mean by work ethic. Who hurts when you lose? Who really bothers them when you lose? And I think he's a sore loser, but so am I, and so are some of our great quarterbacks sore losers. And I think you have to be that way. And it's funny when someone said the characteristic, they asked a young Moss, I'm calling him young now, Randy Moss, and he said, "I'll be fine as long as we're winning." And that's all of us in this business.
Rich, this is a decision that didn't come easily, but it did take some time. And can you talk about how important it was that the organization gave you the time to make the decision your way and to give you the opportunity to do it in this setting today?
It means a lot to me. I think that I've kept in close contact with the organization and Mr. Davis and Norv, and everybody's been just wonderful. And from the time I got hurt in week 3 to up until this past week, it's just I was really fortunate, to play for this organization and to have this association, and I couldn't ask for more. And for them to be patient with me and work with me in this has been wonderful.
Rich, Jerry McDonald from the Oakland Tribune. NFL Films has got a piece of film where they had you mic'd and John Gruden mic'd, and they, during the game, and it's almost as if the sentences start with him and then come out of your mouth like you're finishing his thoughts. Can you just describe what that relationship and together how you sort of put this offense together?
Well, we did have a unique relationship, and I think we had some similar traits or characteristics, if you will. We very passionate about the game, and we communicated well, and I think we got on each other's nerves, but we just like, it's a very heated game at times, but at the end of the day, we always knew that we were both trying to do the same things. We were both trying to find a way to get it done and to win, and even with Nora, I mean, there's every coach I've ever played with, there's going to be confrontations, there's going to be emotional outbursts or eruptions, if you will, if you're passionate enough about it, but never out of disrespect. It's always, in the heat of the battle, and I think that's, obviously John and I had our share of moments over the years. Some were not as proud of as others, but the thing that we always did was when we came to the locker room after the game, we always looked at each other in the eye and know that we were trying to make each other better, and that's the way it is sometimes.
Rich, Janie McCauley with AP. What have the doctors told you that you can expect to be able to do physically for the rest of your life in terms of throwing balls with your kids or just in terms of physical activity?
No, I'm going to be okay. I just, I can't play football, but I can still be a normal person, and I was fortunate. The injury, although it was a serious injury, it could have been a lot worse, and I was fortunate, and I want to say this: I was blessed to be around some of the best doctors, the best trainers in all professional sports right here in Oakland. They took wonderfully good care of me, and some of them are in the room here today, and I'm very appreciative of all the support and all the work that they've done with me over the years. I've had, everyone goes through injuries, and I've had my share of injuries in the league, and I really feel like this group in particular is as good as there is in professional sports at rehabilitating and working with players, and I think that's a tribute to Mr. Davis that tries to surround himself with the best people in all of sports, and we have them right here in Oakland, and really helped make the time from the time I sustained the injury until now a much smoother transition, and I'm very appreciative of everybody. There's so much that goes into this organization. Just I mean, it's amazing. And those of you who have been around it enough know the people in the weight room and trainers and equipment guys, everybody. It's a family. It's a family deal. And the unique thing about it, you know, I look back on the run we made to the Super Bowl that one year, and everybody was excited for each other. I was excited for the equipment guys. I was excited for the trainers. I was excited that this guy might get a bonus or this guy. I mean, that's how it works. And that's when you have that feeling. Norv's been around it a bunch. Norv's won Super Bowls. Mr. Davis knows what it's like. Everybody's trying to accomplish the same thing. And it's a special time. And that's why we work so hard out here in the field in August and year-round to try and make sure that we can experience that feeling together as a group and as a family come January.
Mr. Davis, you mentioned some quarterbacks who played for the Raiders previously. If you look back to some of those offenses, Stabler's offense, LaMonica's, Plunkett's, the height of Rich's offense for those 4 years, was it as good as any that you've had with the Raiders?
I would say that those 4 years, certainly 3 of them, are as dynamic as anything we've had, but you can't in any way disregard the Super Bowls. As Rich points out, that's the zenith. That's what we're all here for. That's the legacy you leave. The Raiders, I hope, will leave a legacy. That will be one of them. Yes, but it was entirely different. You must remember that players like Cliff Branch, Art Powell, Fred Blitnikoff, they were able to be banged around all over the field. And they had problems all over the field. If you put a double on Cliff Branch, which everyone did, double coverage, they could take him away by bumping him at the line, banging him downfield and things like that. Today, if you're double covered, you could put the ball up in the air, and some players can take it away from the defensive backs because they have trouble. They have problems. They can't jam him. It's kind of a different game. Rich could have played in any era because of his feet. I remember before most games, when he comes out and starts warming up, he'll remember this. I'd always say to him, don't forget your feet. Don't forget your feet, because his feet drove people crazy if it was only for 5 or 7 yards at a clip to pick up the first downs. I don't know if I answered your question. To talk about what you asked about, we'd be here for 3 days, but it's a different world right now based on the rules and things like that, and based on the training and conditioning and all of that. But you have to win.
Rich, when you see something on the field while you're doing your TV work that makes the hair stand up on the back of your neck, how are you going to respond verbally?
Well, hopefully with some etiquette, I hope, and with some poise. But I hope to be honest. You know, I think that I hope to be honest, and it's going to be a transition for me, obviously. And I think when you get older, hopefully, you learn to control your feelings and not offend anybody. But I'm going to be honest and hopefully have some fun with it and bring some energy and passion and excitement to it. And that's who I am. And try and be true to who I am, be myself, and just try and have some fun with it.
So. Rebecca Black from Raider Fan Radio. I'm just wondering, what was your most memorable rivalry as an Oakland Raider? Since you're going to be in front of the media and you're going to be trying to get along with everybody, could you tell us before you get to that point what your most memorable rivalry was on the field?
Well, I think it's pretty obvious the Chiefs was a special game for me, and that's always been a special rivalry in football, and there's been a lot of wonderful games. And you look at the AFC West over the years, the team that's usually made it through that rivalry, been on the top of that rivalry, usually won the AFC West. And so I think prior to coming to Oakland, when I was on the flip side of it, we were 7-1. I think in my first 4 seasons here, I think we were 6-2. So we reversed that trend significantly, and I was proud of that, and I had some of my best games against the Chiefs, and it was always fun to go back and play in Arrowhead, and but we had some great games against the Chiefs, and I'd have to say it was obviously the Chiefs. Thanks.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thanks.
So Rich Gannon officially retires from the National Football League after 17 years. We're going to have more on this story coming up. We're going to take a break, come back, and we're going to talk with Rich Gannon. You're watching an NFL Network special report.